All right, today's story is called Fix That Ship. So we're gonna find Fix That Ship in our table of contents. Fix That Ship is on page 38 today. Okay, Fix That Ship, here we go. Zach's dad, Dan, has a ship. It's fun to fish on the ship. This is an apostrophe, so we just read right through it. It stands for it is. It's fun to fish on the ship. But Dan can't fish on the ship yet. Dan must fix up his ship. Look at that picture. The ship has a big crack in its mast. A mast is what holds up a sail. This is a sailboat. So this is the mast and there's the big crack. It has dents, which Dan must fix. It has rust, which Dan must sand. Rust is red corrosion. This is what happens when the water gets on the boat, on metal, and rust forms. Let's do our page again. Zach's dad, Dan, has a ship. It's fun to fish on the ship, but Dan can't fish on the ship yet. Dan must fix up his ship. The ship has a big crack in its mast. It has dents, which Dan must fix. It has rust, which Dan must sand. When you sand something, that's where you take sandpaper and you rub it, and he's gonna rub all the rust off his boat. Dan gets the ship up on the land. So he's gonna do his work. He's gotten out of the water. Then Dan gets a mask. When you're doing sanding, it makes particles go in the air, so he does not want to breathe them. They'll hurt his lungs. The mask will help block the dust. Dan sands the deck. Dan rubs and scrubs. Dan rubs and scrubs. Dan drills and bangs. Dan drills and bangs. At last, Dan's ship is all set. One more time. Dan gets the ship up on the land. Then Dan gets a mask. The mask will help block the dust. Dan sands the deck. Dan rubs and scrubs. Dan drills and bangs. At last, Dan's ship is all set.